Hello and welcome to Trash to Track. Now, in this episode, I'm going to be looking at this Airfix 4F that Keith has sent in, along with his Airfix Castle for servicing and repair. Now, Keith says this 4F has been in this state for many, many years and hasn't ran, like I say, for years. The model is in a disassembled state. It looks pretty much complete, but the base plate there for the locomotive is absolutely smashed to pieces. So I don't think that's going to be any use. Although luckily I did find this in Trains for You scrap box the other week and picked it up way before Keith sent this in. So as luck would have it, I have a spare one which I'm going to rob for this model. So this is in a bit of a state. It's going to need disassembling, fully servicing and repairing before it's going to run again. So the tender is broken. The screw hole there is gone. This I don't think is going to be any good. I'm just checking to make sure that's actually an Airfix one, which it is. The tender body's loose, the weight and the motor are all there. There should be a lug there for the screw, like I said, it's broke off, so I'm going to build that up with plasticard later. But we'll start by disassembling the tender. Now to do that you remove the two screws. The screws go through the weight, through the tender chassis and into the actual motor casing itself and holds it all together. And when I take this apart, the actual tender chassis as well is brittle and cracked. I did think when I took this apart this would be beyond salvage. Now I've cut the wires there because I am going to rewire this model. I'm going to get rid of these thick Airfix wires and replace them with modern thin wire. And there is the motor unit there waiting to be assembled. Now putting a battery across the brush terminals. The model does try and work, but it's very, very sluggish. Like it's struggling somewhat, and you'll see exactly why in a minute when I strip it down. The tender chassis, like I said, has got a lot of cracks in it. The plastic on these models does go brittle with time. So nothing's broke off yet, but you can see there the cracks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flood the area with the EMA plastic weld and then hold it in place, and hopefully those cracks will adhere to each other and it'll glue it back together. Because if it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do, because spare parts for this model would probably cost more than what the actual model's worth, if I'm honest. So flooding it with plastic weld, I then set that aside to dry. And we'll have a look at the motor. Now to remove the motor base plate, you need to unscrew the two screws that hold the base plate in place. And the base plate on this is also clipped in place, so you just undo the clip and then it comes off. This will allow you to remove the wheels, no proper bearings or anything in this. One of the drivetrain gears comes out, and then bizarrely on Airfix motors, when you take the screws out, the back of the motor comes off instead of the front piece where the brushes are. It's actually the back that is removed, and it's one of the only models, Airfix are one of the only manufacturers that make this sort of motor. But when you take the gearbox out and the motor rear and take the commutator out, that is why it's not working. That is one of the dirtiest commutators I've ever seen. It looks like they've oiled the brushes. It was manky, so no wonder it's not running too well. The brushes and springs are actually stuck to the commutator. So putting it on some blue roll, I'll give it a good dousing with some WD-40 contact cleaner. And I clean all the motor housing up, using a cotton bud to wipe off the majority of that horrible oily carbon dirt. And then once I've removed as much as I can with the contact cleaner, I'm actually going to polish that brass up with some Brasso. And you can see on the cotton bud there just how dirty and how black that is. Now I'm using the Brasso, like I said, just to polish up the plates on the commutator to make sure they are as clean as can be. And you can see on this image here when I just finished this how shiny that bottom plate is compared to the other two. So it will tidy up okay. And I've got hopes at the moment that we can reassemble this model. Once the commutator was cleaned, I put the brushes and springs back on and the commutator slides back in the motor housing. And then this gearbox stroke motor rear casing goes on. The gears are held in place with friction and it's quite fiddly to put this back together. You have to push the motor spindle through all the gears and then push it back in place. I've put that right hand gear in in error. Every time I work on one of these models I do that. I don't know why I don't learn from my own mistakes, because this gear has to go on once the motor is back in place. But as I was saying, you line up the gears inside that motor case and then push the motor spindle through and then do the 2 screws up. And if you've done it correctly and everything is in alignment, when you've done this and you turn the rear left gear, the motor will spin, and then putting a battery on it, and you can see just how much better that's running already. Now it's been thoroughly cleaned and serviced. So I cleaned all the axles as well on the tender with a cotton bud and some contact cleaner, just to remove the hair and all the grease and that's on the axles. And these were then clipped back in place, and there's a gear on each wheel which then completes the drivetrain. And then that base keeper is initially clipped on with the 2 clips, then test the motor. Don't screw it in place, because if you do that and the motor doesn't work, you've got to unscrew it all again. So I just clip it in place for now, and then when I can find the battery, across the brush terminals, and just look how much better that's running. Now it's been fully serviced, and there's a small amount of oil on that motor shaft to lubricate it, and it's running absolutely lovely. And now I've confirmed that, now I replace the 2 screws underneath. Now I'm just using the remnants of this white PTFE grease from Woodland Scenics. It wouldn't squeeze out the tube, so I cut the tube and used a cocktail stick. There's quite a lot of grease still in there, it's too much to waste. And I just put a little bit on the gears, on the wheels, and then give it a test with the battery again. And that will spread the grease through the drivetrain, just like that. And now everything's properly lubricated, and to be fair, it's quite a quiet running motor, this, for an Airfix one. The next thing to do is to put the repaired tender chassis over. Make sure you do it the right way. That's incorrect, it goes the other way. There's a cutout for the gears, look, and I put it on backwards. But then when it goes on the right way, it just sits down over the 2 screw retaining lugs. And then the weight can go on, although you have to put the wires on first. So I'm going to have to get the front of the loco back in. Now I've already soldered new wires onto the pickup plate. And this base plate, like I said, I did have a look at gluing it back together, but for the sake of that spare one that I found at Trains For You, I'm just going to bin that. And I'm going to remove the base plate off this donor model by removing the last remaining screw, and it just unclips. Now the weird thing about the front loco part of the Airfix 4F is that the screws that hold everything together go in from the top, not the bottom. The only screw underneath is the body securing screws. So when you put the pickup plate in, make sure the pickups are pushing against the wheel backs, and then just tighten the screws up. Although you do have to hold the base plate and the pickup plate together, because as you'll see, if you try and screw it without, it will just push the base plate out the way. So then holding them together with my thumb and forefinger, then tightening the screw up, it will pull the plate up, and that will hold the wheels in place. Now I did clean the wheels on the front loco part. You clean the wheel treads and the wheel backs, and hopefully that will encourage good electrical conductivity when this model's running. And then the other screw at the front is also tightened up. So that's the front bit, and the pickup's all overhauled. I then put the body shell back on, but this is an error, because what I've got to do now is actually make a tender drawbar. Now what I've done here is I've built up that missing lug with some 40 thou plastic cards stacked up, and I'm going to drill through and use a self-tapping screw to secure the tender body on. Now I actually make a tender drawbar out of 40 thou plastic card, and then this sits over the body securing pin where the screw goes on the locomotive, and then the chassis sits in over the top, holding everything in place, and then you can secure the chassis to the locomotive body shell using the 2 screws. Now when I made the tender drawbar, I didn't realise at the time I'd made it just a little bit too short, so it would have been okay for a display model, but in the end I ended up cutting it and extending it. Now using that EMA plastic weld again on plastic card, it does weld it, it melts it together, so you can see there just how short that tender drawbar is, and I don't think that I'd run around curves like that, so I just cut it and extend it, and there we go. I've extended it by about 5mm. The pickup wires thread through a hole in the bottom of the tender chassis, just like so. And then the wires are soldered directly onto the brush terminals. So I'll solder them up. I've also pre-drilled a pilot hole in the plastic card. And then all you do is solder the wires together, put the tender body shell back on, making sure that the tender drawbar again sits over the plastic securing lug and is held in place with one of these small flathead self-tapping screws that I'm going to gently screw into that plastic until it's tight and holding everything together. That plastic weld was left for 24 hours to thoroughly cure before I did this, by the way, because if you don't, you will end up just ripping those that plastic card tower apart. So having left it 24 hours, you can see that self-tapping screw is just cutting through that plastic card quite nicely. And now it's time to give the whole Loco a test run. Now when I ran it, the front wheels were locked solid because the pickups were putting that much pressure on the wheels that the front Loco wheels, although they are picking up because it's moving, the pickups were just putting too much pressure on. So I took it apart again, adjusted the pickups, and you can see now that it's actually a really nice runner. And this is the first time this model's run for years, well over 10 years I'd say. Considering its age now, the Airfix 4F is probably one of their better models. I've got two in my own fleet, both of them DCC fitted, and they run absolutely superbly. They've got a good wheelbase for electrical pickup. That is quite a long wheelbase on the front there. And with their 3 driven tender axles, that all wheels on the tender have traction tyres, they will literally pull a house down. They are not short on horsepower, these little models. And like I said, I think they actually look quite nice for their age. If you've got an engine or anything you need repaired, DCC fitted or repainted, please email me at dansmodelrailways@gmail.com. Have a look at getting it sent over, and who knows, it may even feature in an episode all of its own. So I gave Keith's 4F a good running in on Trains for Use test layout because obviously it's DC only. And as you can see, it was running around here for half an hour in both directions, no problems at all. So thank you all again for watching Trash to Track. A bit of a quick one this week, but it is nice to do a relatively easy repair now and again after some of the stuff we've had recently. But please like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye for now.